1745, a man with no past was arrested in London for spying. He called himself the Count of Saint-Germain. Over the next century, he appeared at major courts across Europe, and he always looked the same age. He claimed to have known emperors, kings, even Jesus. He spoke dozens of languages, carried diamonds no one could explain, and hinted more than once that he had lived for centuries. Some said he was a genius, some said he was a fraud, and others swore he was immortal. This is the story of the man history will never pin down, and the legend that refused to die. The first solid mentions of Saint-Germain begin in the 1740s, when he suddenly started appearing in European courts. No introduction, no past, just a man who walked into high society as if he belonged there. He looked about 40, calm eyes, immaculate clothes, a presence you couldn't ignore. When people asked who he was, he gave only a name, Saint-Germain. No family, no birthplace, nothing. In an era obsessed with bloodlines, this wasn't mysterious. It was suspicious. But whatever he hid, he compensated with brilliance. He spoke French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, English, and several Asian languages like a native speaker. He painted, he composed, he played the violin with the kind of precision people spent decades mastering. And when he talked about ancient history, he described moments so vividly, people wondered how he could possibly know so much. Whenever someone asked about his age, he simply smiled and said, "I am a man without age." Nothing about him felt ordinary. Saint-Germain created pigments that never faded, dyes no one else could replicate, and jewels, especially diamonds, that he claimed to have improved, polished in ways jewelers did not understand for another century. He seemed like a scientist, an artist, and a philosopher rolled into one. Madame de Pompadour, the most influential woman at the French court, wrote that he knew everything and never forgot anything. Despite living among nobles, he avoided their habits. He ate lightly, drank rarely, barely slept, and had a constant, almost unnatural energy. People didn't know whether to admire him or fear him. Then came the idea that changed everything. What if the man wasn't simply talented? What if he was timeless? In 1760, an incident in a Paris salon pushed the rumors into something much bigger. An elderly woman approached Saint-Germain, stared at him, and said she had met the same man 50 years earlier. Not someone who'd look like him, the same person, same face, same voice, same age. Saint-Germain bowed politely and said only, "I am very old, madame." Soon after, the Comtesse de Jersey claimed she had met him in Venice in 1710, and even then, he looked exactly the same as he did now. If she was right, he should have been in his 70s by the time she saw him again, but he still looked 40. Then, the stories escalated. He spoke about Jesus as if he had known him. He talked about the Council of Nicaea in the year 325 like he had been present. He described lost civilizations such as Atlantis with unusual certainty. Some people laughed, some felt uneasy, but many noticed that he spoke with the confidence of someone remembering events, not repeating them. And then came something impossible to ignore. Saint-Germain predicted the French Revolution decades before it happened, describing chaos and violence that would later unfold almost exactly as he said. After that, the idea that he was ageless stopped sounding like a joke. Modern historians agree on at least one thing. Saint-Germain moved through European politics in ways few others could. He met privately with ministers, traveled across borders during war without trouble, appeared at important diplomatic moments without having any official role. Some believed he worked as a spy for King Louis XV. Others thought he served Frederick the Great of Prussia. There were even rumors he belonged to secret societies like Rosicrucians or the Freemasons. But his own words made things even stranger. He told about the elixir of life like he had real knowledge of it. He discussed alchemy not as a legend, but as something practical. And whenever people pushed him for proof, he simply disappeared. Sometimes for months, sometimes for years. Yet, whenever he returned, he looked exactly the same. Never weak, never sick, never older. Official records claim Saint Germain died in 1784 in the town of Ekerfrende in Germany. A pastor wrote his name. A doctor supposedly saw him, but nothing about the story fits. There was no funeral, no confirmed body, no grave that anyone could verify. And soon after his death, sightings began. In 1821, he was reportedly seen in Vienna. In 1867, a French writer claimed to have spoken with him. In the 1890s, Theosophists insisted he was still alive. And in the early 1900s, a woman described meeting a mysterious Major Fraser who looked exactly like Saint Germain, same height, same face, same apparent age, always around 40. To many, it seemed the man who never aged also never died. So, who was the Count of Saint Germain? A gifted mind ahead of his time? A political operator working behind the scenes? A master storyteller who let rumors create his myth? Or a man who truly believed and convinced others that he had lived for centuries? His birthplace is unknown, his age is uncertain, his death is unproven, and maybe that's why his story survives. Some people simply don't fit neatly into history. They move through it like shadows, appearing, disappearing, and leaving more questions than answers. Saint Germain was one of those people. A man remembered not for what he proved, but for what he made the world wonder. A legend that refuses to fade, just like the man himself. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and subscribe to EraVivid for more true stories the world forgot. Thank you for watching.